The fiery Operation Sindoor debate in Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha also exposed the rift within the Congress party and pointed to the fact that the Congress is yet to take a decision with two of its prominent leaders, both members of parliament, Shashi Tharoor and Manish Tewari, both of whom were prominent faces of India's campaign across the world on Operation Sindoor, but were pointedly left out of the opposition's response on the floor of the House. I'm Barkha, you're with the Mojo Story. On the program today, we look at the political fallout of Operation Sindoor as we look at the political ramifications of what this might mean for the Congress party. Rahul Gandhi and Prime Minister Modi, of course, went head to head in a fiery debate. In fact, the debate is still ongoing in the upper house of parliament. But even as both leaders argued around the operation, narrative wars, Pahalgam terror attack, security lapses that led to that, two men, Shashi Tharoor and Manish Tewari, who had been prominent faces of India's response on Operation Sindoor, were pointedly missing from this debate. Both were part of all-party delegations. In fact, Shashi Tharoor led one to the United States of America on Operation Sindoor. But their party clearly no longer sees them as leaders who are on their own side and pointedly left them out. This has led to a fierce debate. Did the Congress score a own goal or did they have no alternative? What happens now? Is it a case of who blinks first? Will there be an uneasy status quo? Or is this the end of the road for both of these men when it comes to the Congress party? Joining me now is our newsmaker today. Rasheed Kidwai is a veteran journalist, a prolific author, has spent decades covering politics, is a dear friend, and of course knows the Congress party better, I think, than anybody else. Rasheed, thank you so much. Let me start by asking you, even the Prime Minister obliquely commented on the fact that some Congress leaders were missing from the debate. Were you surprised or was it as you expected?
First of all, thank you, Barkha. Thank you for your kind words. I was not at all surprised. I was expecting this. This is a very unfortunate situation in a principal opposition party, that being the Congress, and the congressmen were actually gloating over the fact that the two of the most prominent faces, not only in the Lok Sabha but in terms of foreign policy, in terms of understanding Operation Sindoor, they were missing, because what they were highlighting the fact that Rahul Gandhi spoke well, and there was Priyanka Gandhi who also spoke well, and they thought that nobody missed Shashi Tharoor and Manish Tewari. And it's a very sad and I would say a telling commentary on the state of affairs, the grand old party. Actually, there has been a lot of psychological distance between these two leaders on one side, though they are not together. There is a nuanced difference between the stand taken by Shashi Tharoor and the stand taken by Mr. Manish Tewari. But yet they're clubbed. They were part of G23 that sort of revolted or rebelled against the established leadership of the Congress, that being Gandhi, Sonia Gandhi, and Rahul Gandhi. Someone can argue that that was a kind of proxy battle between Ghulam Nabi Azad and Ahmed Patel, two persons you have known them very well. But in nutshell, now Azad is not in Congress and Ahmed Patel is not in this world. But the kind of psychological distance that I'm talking about exists, and it's real. Both sides have very little option. Mr. Tharoor and Manish Tewari, in that order, cannot go outside the Congress because there is very little space. And the Congress also doesn't want to act against them because there is nothing that is, so to say, anti-party activity that they have indulged in. So this is like Congress is in the state of, happy to be unhappy, and they just look at events and they think that the Lok Sabha speech went off well because Rahul spoke well in the sense that he was sharp, and Priyanka, who struck a kind of emotional chord, and the Akhilesh Yadav and the others spoke well. So nobody missed Shashi Tharoor.
But can I ask you, this is an interesting description of the Congress on these two men being happy to be unhappy. But you said that there is a nuanced difference between the two people, between Shashi Tharoor and Manish Tewari. And certainly when it comes to Shashi Tharoor, you would remember that Jairam Ramesh very angrily put the mic to one side when asked about his views at a press conference, very uncharacteristically, showing that irritation in public. Manish has had some serious tensions with the Congress leadership in the past, but it looked as if he may have sort of ironed over those creases. What do you see as the difference between both of them in their relationship with the Congress leadership?
So, Barkha, first of all, we must understand that, parliamentary debates are on party lines. So parties given time in accordance with their sort of numerical strength in the house, and they are given time, and it is the floor leaders who decide. In this case, Rahul Gandhi and that Gogai, who's a deputy leader. So they were to decide who would be fielded, who will not be fielded. One key question, Barkha, we must remember in party politics that you need to toe party line. So if there is a motion on Operation Sindoor, then you stand and you first thing the parliamentarian has to declare that he or she is in favor of it or opposed to it. Perhaps Mr. Shashi Tharoor was not in a position to oppose the motion, and this was in contrast with the stand taken by the Congress party in Parliament. So there was a difficulty. In case of Mr. Manish Tewari, he wanted a debate to be structured differently, because he thinks that it is a nation that had gone to war, and there is a need to be a kind of nuanced deliberation. It should not be us versus they, or opposition and government. And that was something I would say a bit to be wishful, because parliamentary debates, Barkha, you and me, we have covered lot many during 90s and last 30 years. There's never been a kind of so to say a national flavor debate. There's always two sides, and India is a very vibrant democracy in that sense. So I think while according to Congress people, Mr. Shashi Tharoor is looking for a life and career outside the Congress, may not be on own bidding before or after Kerala Assembly elections, while Mr. Manish Tewari is a smart cookie. He has contested, last 4 Lok Sabha elections from 4 different constituencies in Punjab. And, he has always managed to, not only get a seat, but get himself elected. So Manish is seen from the Congress, insiders' perception. He's seen more as, one of them, while, with Shashi Tharoor, there is a greater distance.
So I want to play out for you. Admittedly, this was a few weeks ago, but I think it's the last time that he spoke at length about this question. Shashi Tharoor was at one of our events in London, the We the Women event, and he was asked by me. He, of course, answered in jokes, but they seemed like half jokes to me about what he might want to do next. He also flagged this issue that you just spoke about, that unfortunately in India, an individual MP is not allowed to take a position different from that of the party line, which he says doesn't happen in the West. Take a look at this, and then I'll come right back.
You had a very cryptic post on social media. You had a little sort of graphic slide, and it said you don't need anyone's permission to fly. Are you flying the coop? Are you leaving the Congress?
No.
And if not, why not? Because listen, they don't seem to appreciate you.
Number one, there's no point in issuing a tweet if the tweet can't speak for itself. So
it did speak for itself.
Exactly. I'm not amplifying.
It said you are not going to seek the permission or the consent of people to be yourself. That's what I understood it to be.
But that's always been the case with me, Barkha. Hasn't that been a problem for very, very people for a very long time?
It's both your most strong trait and gets you into trouble in politics sometimes.
I suppose that's partially true. I mean, one of the challenges of our system is indeed that we are very heavily linked to party process. It's a feature of the parliamentary system, but even within, say, the British parliamentary system here, individual MPs have far more more
sort of space to take positions.
Flexibility, to take their own positions. And you may remember that when they were discussing in Parliament the question of going to war over Iraq, not only members of the ruling party of the government, but even ministers dissented from the government's position. If I remember right, Robin Cook, I think, was the foreign secretary who objected to his own government's decision to go to war. So these things are possible in Britain. They're not in the Indian ethos, and perhaps that's partially one of the specific challenges we all have. And in any party, it's not about my party alone. In any party, you're supposed to sort of rigidly stick to a line, and that line is determined, unfortunately, by processes that are often considered opaque, even within those parties. And so at the end of the day, if you have a mind of your own, it becomes, you either have to stifle it, or if you're lucky, it happens to be exactly the view that your party is taking, and you go along with it.
So at the moment,
you're
not stifling yourself?
No, listen, I was given, as these other opposition MPs also were, a mission on behalf of the country.
This
and
panel
I
is called Man
fulfilled
on a
that
Mission.
to the best of my ability, and that's exactly what I went to do. And I must say that the message was well received, wherever we went.
Absolutely. And therefore my question, and this is really a genuine question. When I met you in Thiruvananthapuram, in the assembly election, you were on the in the Lok Sabha election, and you were on the campaign trail, and he's a 4-time member of parliament from Thiruvananthapuram. You said at that time, I said, what next? And you said, well, you know what, I don't know, but like the only next thing left to be is Kerala Chief Minister. We were chatting at that time, on record. I'm not quoting from a secret conversation.
Sounds like you might.
No, I have the camera clip. Then, now everybody says, hey, why can't Shashi just be like, no offense to Mr. Jaishankar, but foreign minister?
No, first of all, there's no vacancy.
So he joked. Of course, that was a mischievous question by me. I didn't mean it literally. But that is obviously what he would most like to be. And he joked and he said there's no vacancy. And then he didn't get further drawn into it. Now, what you're saying is that between Manish and Shashi, there's a sense in the Congress that Shashi Tharoor is marking his time. Is that correct? But you don't think the Congress will be the one to take action against him, Rasheed?
Absolutely. I think, Barkha, I mean, this is an internal party matter. So me and you, we are not in a, position to take, and we should not take actually a stand in favor or against somebody. See, both sides, I look at it, if you see it as compare it as a protected, game of chess. In chess, you need to have an end game. You may be having many pieces, but how would you marshal those pieces and maneuver it? And that depends whether you want to play for a draw, or you want to, have a, check and mate, something like that. I think both sides, from my limited understanding of Congress party and Mr. Tharoor's mind, both lack a kind of, clever end game. Both are hoping for something or other to happen, and it's all revolves around the outcome of Kerala election. And they think that they fancy their chances. As you know, Barkha, there's been a survey that says Mr. Tharoor is the best chief ministerial face, and the same survey says that Congress will win, the next round of Kerala election. And the Congress actually rejected that survey simply because it favored Mr. Tharoor as a most acceptable face of chief minister. So this is exactly the state of affair. Two things, Barkha, I want to say it very pointedly. One is that we, on a purely in terms of political science, the loyalty of a member lies with that political party. You win an election on the basis of that election symbol, the ticket that's been given to you. So the primary loyalty is actually to the party. We may say that, yes, our primary loyalty is to the nation, which is very much there and which goes unsaid. But in terms of, political grammar, in terms of parliamentary democracy, your loyalty is to the party.
Rasheed, Dr. Tharoor shared a clip where a student in a school or somewhere asked him, if there's a conflict between, I don't remember the exact words, but something to this effect, that between party and country, and he said always country first, which you said is a truism. Obviously always country first. But I think what you're indicating is that the Congress believes that Shashi Tharoor could not be a 4-time member of parliament if it were not for the Congress. He has won on the Congress ticket. He got a ticket because Congress, I think Shashi Tharoor believes that he is today an autonomous political brand, autonomous of the Congress.
Yes, so that may be true, but we know that the party affiliation, particularly in a state like Kerala, is a definite contributory factor. Barkha, you may recall what happened to Somnath Chatterjee. Somnath Chatterjee was Speaker of Lok Sabha when UPA was in power. And what happened that there was a sort of standoff between the left parties and Manmohan Singh government, and Somnath Chatterjee did not vote against Manmohan Singh government or the vote of no confidence on nuclear deal. And for that, Mr. Somnath Chatterjee was considered, was dubbed as a persona non grata within the left parties. And Somnath Chatterjee, you may have interviewed him, you may have interacted with him that time. He was torn between his primary loyalty to Congress, to the left. It's more than slip of tongue, you may assume, but actually it was a slip of tongue.
Freudian slip of tongue, huh?
towards the
anyway, yeah.
CPM. But
Mhm.
to be
Yeah.
fair to Shashi Tharoor, to be fair to Somnath Chatterjee, he did not accept offer to become High Commissioner, to the United Kingdom, and the many sort of perks that time Manmohan Singh government had reportedly offered. So it is a similar case. It's not the same case. So Somnath Chatterjee is to think that he acted as a Speaker of the House, as a sort of his Christian duty, his sense of political judgment and the responsibility that has been given to the speaker. But the left parties were very clear, particularly the CPM, that he had gone beyond the party loyalty, his primary loyalty, and they punished him, and he suffered. So this is a case in our political system where party loyalty is primary and it is substantial. You see, what you say about love for nation, that is permanent, but that cannot be equated. It's like person being of a particular faith and an Indian national. So two things coexist. So there cannot be a kind of conflict between the two. And Mr. Tharoor, actually, it's very interesting, Barkha, that he has not said or done anything that is anti-party activity, and the Congress knows. So Congress doesn't want to antagonize, sort of public opinion or popular opinion by acting against. They would just try to, in their scheme of things, keep isolating him. And it is for Mr. Tharoor to actually, because he's an individual, he's pitted against, so to say, an institution. And also, Barkha, you and me know that it is, if Sonia Gandhi wants, she can actually get this thing resolved. If Mr. Tharoor, gets an audience with her, she has the kind of heft and the capability and a track record to bring, like it happened in case of in different circumstances, Sachin Pilot, to bring him back in the sort of, so to say, mainstream of political party. Because much of Tharoor's, differences are actually not so much, I would say, even with Rahul Gandhi, but Mr. K.C. Venugopal and Jairam
Yeah.
Ramesh and, people
Yeah.
like him.
Yes, but Rahul has taken a line also, right? Rahul could have said, let's open the debate with Shashi Tharoor. I mean, actually, BJP would have found it very difficult to criticize Shashi Tharoor because they have praised him so much in the course of Operation Sindoor. If Tharoor had stood up and said, I have gone and taken this message across the world, I stand with India, I stood with my government when my government needed me, because it is our government, it is every Indian's government, it's an elected government. But I have a few questions. I mean, the BJP, I think, would not have been able to ignore those questions. I think the Congress made a mistake by disowning Tharoor strategically.
Yeah. Yes, so Barkha, we saw how Asaduddin Owaisi sort of performed or
Yes.
spoke. So he was is a very kind of I would say shining example of how to say things and not basically shifting or moving away from your core ideology or political thinking, and yet making a point. So Mr. Asaduddin Owaisi did it. Shashi Tharoor would have done it, I would say, 10 times better. But
Yeah.
then there should have been some communication between him and Gaurav Gogoi, or other way around, Gaurav Gogoi, and that. You see, this is a problem. There is a lot of lack of communication, interpersonal problem within Congress, and basically no one speaks or says. I mean, this has been said. I don't know whether I've told you. See, there was an instance where Rahul Gandhi was coming out of the old Parliament building, and these two individuals were standing, that being Shashi Tharoor and Manish Tewari, and they were hoping to get an eye contact and exchange pleasantries, etc. And perhaps Rahul Gandhi saw him or saw them or did not see them. He kept looking at his mobile phone and just walked past them. So this is something, Barkha, I mean, it doesn't happen in school colleges these days. I mean,
Yeah.
we used to do it in that time. You want to ignore someone and all. So it's very childish. It's very, I would say, unwanted, uncalled for, and not. I mean, so to say, Rahul Gandhi or Shashi Tharoor or Manish Tewari, it's very unfortunate.
Absolutely. This is kind of, as you said, it doesn't even happen in colleges. It's not even adolescents. This is very strange because you can't expect them to continue like this, but then what are their options? I want to play out for you another short clip before we come to the end of this conversation, Rasheed, and that is Manish Tewari. This is Manish Tewari talking to me on his return from his all-party delegation. Again, these are not, these are older clips, the last few weeks, not in the last week. I need to be very clear about that. In the last 24 hours, Manish has only quoted a Mahinder Kapoor song, and we'll come to that choice of song in just a moment. But this is what Manish said to me earlier. Take a look. You are not upset or bothered by the bile that some party members or supporters may direct towards you.
Actually, Barkha, having been there and done it now for 2.5 decades, and after having done it for 15 hours with, very experienced and accomplished and distinguished journalists like yourself, you now can sit back and really laugh at it when someone has a go at you. I mean, there's no skin on my back.
Yeah. So he's basically took the position that I don't care. बोल लो जो बोलना है, मुझे फर्क नहीं पड़ता. But yesterday, he quoted from the old song, मैं भारत की बात सुनाता हूँ, right? Mahinder Kapoor का पुराना गाना. How did you read this choice of Ghana? Let's talk about that.
I think excellent. And it's actually Mahinder Kapoor, but on screen we see Manoj Kumar. Now look at Manoj Kumar. What happened? You see what happened to Manoj Kumar. Manoj Kumar joined, the Congress. He was basically, I would say, his heart was inclined towards Congress party. Joined BJP at one point of time, but could not, become a kind of face the way Vinod Khanna and I would say Mithun Chakravarti at present, or Hema Malini, they are there. So basically, this is a problem. These characters are friends. Manish Tewari and Shashi Tharoor, they are a bit of like Manoj Kumar. They are not, they will be a misfit in present day, BJP. So there are a lot of filmmakers, Barkha, who are peddling the BJP line, those Agnihotris of the world. So they cannot become Agnihotris of the world, and this is their limitation, and that Congress knows. And what is the other space? If Mr. Tharoor contests as a TMC candidate next time around from Kerala, what is 0 plus 0 in Kerala? So that will be a big challenge. Same is the problem with Manish Tewari. He may not like Rahul Gandhi, but can he accept the supremacy or the style of functioning of Arvind Kejriwal? Aam Aadmi Party in Punjab. So these are the limitations. There are practical problems. So as I said, game of chess, no idea of end game. And that is a real tragedy of these two leaders.
Let me end with asking you, do you believe that in this game of chess, this uneasy status quo will just continue?
I think, it takes two to tango. I think, again, in case of Shashi Tharoor, as I said, there's a qualitative difference. Shashi Tharoor, having fought against Kharge, has very limited role or scope in the Congress. So only person who can, get him a place of honor or dignity is Sonia Gandhi. Will she act? Has Shashi Tharoor approached her directly or indirectly? We do not know. At least I do not know. Case of Manish Tewari, he is more, down to earth, more he has a more scope of maneuvering. I think by the time next round of parliament elections are held, Mr. Manish Tewari will get a Congress ticket.
And you believe after the Kerala assembly elections, you could see Tharoor's exit?
No, I don't know what will Mr. Tharoor do. Suppose Congress doesn't win, then Mr. Tharoor will be, this is highly unlikely scenario, but suppose no one gets a majority or so, then what happens? And I think Tharoor is a very accomplished person as a sort of diplomat, writer, public intellectual. So there are a lot of things are there for him. You see, there's not a day where Mr. Tharoor would not have an invitation to speak in any part of India or the world. So he can be, Bill Clinton and Barack Obama or several world leaders are doing. Be on a lecture tour, do things, interact with Barkha, book release functions, write 10 more books. So he has, a life outside the Congress. It will be a greater loss for the Congress, because the Congress will lose a big person, a future whenever Congress comes to power, a kind of very I would say accomplished, a very hands-on foreign minister of India. We know that he knows international geopolitics very well, and he has sort of not only understanding, he has friends all over. So he is an asset. But what do you do to a person who describes, being a Congress MP, describes Narendra Modi as a national asset? And Mr. Narendra Modi, we look at his Lok Sabha speech or throughout Operation Sindoor or after that, kept describing Congress as a friend of Pakistan. Lashkar-e, Congress, Rahul, Lashkar, part of Lashkar-e, Taiba, all kind of things. Now, these are grave charges. Barkha, if somebody makes a post, and I want to, in your program, I want to make this a point. If somebody makes a Facebook post, just praising somebody or some actor, non-actor of Pakistan, there is a criminal case against that individual. And here is a Prime Minister who says that the Congress party is hand in glove with Pakistan. If that is true, then why there is no criminal action being taken against? This is a serious charge. Sedition, acting, against national interests. If it's just a part of political rhetoric, then it must stop. But if there is a truth, if George Soros or whatever they want to say, the ecosystem, it must be probed. And if the Congress or Rahul or anybody is guilty, they should be punished. You cannot just be making these serious, allegations against a political party that has a sort of whole history, having fought, under this, governance, 3 or 4 decisive wars against Pakistan.
Let me ask you in the end, I think we'll have to watch this space when it comes to Tharoor and Manish. It's quite clear that you believe that Dr. Tharoor has a less of a trajectory or a ladder to climb up on within the Congress. Manish might still prove to be the bigger survivor at his own level, not necessarily with a more prominent role like that he would undoubtedly hope for. There is also a simmering rift in Karnataka for the Congress, and we should talk about it at the end. What is going on with DK Shivakumar and Siddaramiah? How serious is that? Has that been contained? What is going on there according to you?
Barkha, you've asked a serious question, and pardon me for laughing, but it's bizarre. What's happening in Karnataka is just. I remember the old Congress spokesman Chandulal Chandrakar used to say Karnataka. So there is always natak going on, and it's actually happening because here is a situation where DK Shivakumar, who's a contender, and November is coming, sort of that half tenure of Siddaramiah would be over, and he should be taking over. But there is a problem now. Rahul Gandhi has talked so much about backward politics and the backwards not getting their due. Barkha, look at the Congress Chief Minister. Revanth Reddy is a forward caste. So is Sukhwinder Singh Sukhu of Himachal Pradesh. Now Siddaramiah is a backward. You remove a backward and you bring DK Shivakumar, a forward caste. So this is somehow it's not gelling. I said I was laughing. It's your turn to laugh, but this is the thing. Now here is AICC Chief Mallikarjun Kharge, 83, 84. He's fancying his chances. He said, if you want to remove a backward, bring a Dalit. And I'm offering my services. So this is really bizarre so DK Shivakumar or Siddaramiah would not want Mallikarjun Kharge to come in. So therefore, I guess a status quo would continue and DK Shivakumar will be making some kind of political sacrifice.
So you're saying DK Shivakumar will have to give up his hope that he will be Chief Minister?
No, as long as Siddaramiah is there, Mr. Shivakumar has a hope of being a successor. If he forces removal of Siddaramiah and a Dalit comes in, maybe not just Mallikarjun Kharge, but someone from the state cabinet, then Mr. Shivakumar, it's no pleasure for Mr. Shivakumar. So Shivakumar is a very astute, he's a very serious-minded politician. I think he will be better off just by being number 2 and just fancying his chances whenever opportunity or rather to give opportunity to some third person.
Well, Rasheed, I'm looking forward to your next book, is all I will say in the end, because you're a prolific writer and it's always great masala. But in the meantime, thank you for giving us a glimpse into what's happening in the Congress. I think even the Congress doesn't know the answers to some of the questions that we are raising. Time will reveal those answers. Always a pleasure. Thank you so much, Rasheed Kidwai. Thank you.
And thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
It's great to see you here. Thank you for watching our work. If you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to click the bell icon and subscribe to Mojo Story and support independent, robust journalism.